Hello, beautiful people. My top 5 in February. This one was actually quite an easy choice. There were some real standouts this month. And I've got a bit of a mixture in terms of like prices and designers and stuff. So let's get started with this. This is new to my collection and it is miraculous because it is from the house of Lattafa. And I am famously not a fan of that house just because they tend to use a huge amount of the modern aroma chemicals that I don't get along with. This though, this has less of those modern aroma chemicals, I think, than what it's duping. So I'm very happy to have this. This is Angham from Lattafa. And this is a excellent alternative. And I say dupe. It's not identical to Burberry Goddess. It's obviously supposed to be a dupe for Burberry Goddess, but to me, it's a little bit more easygoing. There's a kind of more of a woodiness in the dry down, and there's more of the cacao, and there's less of the ginger. But I am obsessed with lavender. I love lavender. Lavender vanillas, I absolutely love. Lavender tonkas, that kind of thing. And Burberry Goddess just had that hint of that tarry aroma chemical that I didn't like. There was just something in it that I sometimes would sniff it from the bottle and I just was getting put off from wearing it. So Angham, it has some kind of citrusy feel when I first spray it that I do think smells a little cheap, but as soon as it dries down, which doesn't take long, this is beautiful. And this one I'm getting a craving to wear quite a lot. So that's, oh yeah, this is the perfect alternative for me. Now, I mean, I've said before when I was talking about this that Athena is, I think, a bit closer to actually smelling like Goddess. It's a bit more of a similar wear. But for me, firstly, I much prefer this bottle. But also, this one just works better on my skin for some reason. So yeah, I have a Lattafa, which is just, you know, who would have possibly thunk that I would ever end up with one of these? Now, is thunk a word? I don't think so. I said it anyway. I do what I want. But yeah, I think it's a really cool bottle with the musical notes. All right. A very random one for this time of year is Still by Jennifer Lopez, because I was just hanging out with my husband the other day and we were going to get into bed and watch a movie, and I hadn't put a perfume on yet, and it was at the weekend, and I was like, I often say this to him, I don't give him specific choices, I just say, shall I go for a freshie or something sweet or maybe something creamy or something powdery, and he will nearly always suggest freshie if I give him the choice, because he is a boy that likes a freshie and he likes fruity, but he loves Jennifer Lopez still. So this is what I put on, and I mean, I normally only wear this in warmer weather because I do feel like the apple and the florals come out a bit more in this than the kind of softer elements from the tea. I can't even remember what else is in here, but the jasmine comes out more to me in hot weather. And so it smells like jasmine tea. And when I was wearing it in cold weather, I get more of a kind of, I think it might be magnolia in here, but I get other white florals. So this smells much more floral to me, and I get a lot of the green apple. So I don't normally wear it in cold weather, but it was absolutely beautiful and I loved it. And I'd forgotten because I haven't worn this for a while. But man, this lasts on me all day. Like all day, I can smell it all day in any time of year. It's one of the best value perfumes that I have. It's such an amazing, amazing perfume, and I just loved it. I wore it all day, and I think I resprayed it like in the evening, but I didn't really need to. But I just love it so much. It's just, yeah. So yeah, an unusual reach for me in February when it's very cold, but still so beautiful. And then another one I haven't worn for ages, and I wore it purely to try it out to see whether I would want to declutter it, just because I hadn't worn it. Nope, it was one of my favourites. I loved this. This is Carolina Herrera 212, an absolute classic banger from, I think, the early 2000s. I think this is just after the 90s, but it smells like the 90s and early 2000s. This is a thick, dense, musky, white floral that's sweet and I think smells like a yummy, creamy bar soap. It's got Camilla, Is it Camilla or Camellia? I think it's got maybe lily. There's just a huge amount of musk in this. There's loads of musk. It's delicious. If you like things like Noah by Cacharel, if you like Cerruti 1881, if you like Lanvin's Oxygen, if you like that feeling of a thick musk, but also quite sweet and a bit floral, you are going to really love Carolina Herrera 212. And as I said when I was talking about this last time, it smells quite similar to Pure by Alfred Sung. So if you can find that one for cheaper, which you might be able to, especially at the moment, they're very, very similar. That one just has a pineapple note that makes it a bit more fruity. But yeah, I loved wearing this. I felt perfect in that. And then this is such a random perfume that I don't think was ever released in the UK, but I managed to get it on eBay. I got it from a company called Hoagie's, and they still have bottles of this. Were you watching my January 5 favourites and going, hey, there isn't a Mon Guerlain in here? Well, there is in this one. This is, oh my goodness. This is Mon Guerlain L'Essence. This is basically Mon Guerlain but with a frangipani note, so it has the same feel as the original Mon Guerlain, and it dries down to get more and more like that, but it has a buttery floral in it, which I don't normally like. I'm normally put off by buttery florals, but somehow in here it just works. You have this kind of amazing profile of Mon Guerlain and then this slight beachy floral floating around in there as well. So the butteriness of it and the beachiness and that kind of, I think some people would describe it as creamy, but I think it's, I don't know, I really am getting like butter from those florals. I get it with a lot of tuberose, gardenia, tiare flower, so everything that you'd get beachy florals normally described as. But it's like, it's so manageable in this that it actually makes it really beautiful. I was saving this for warmer weather, but I just decided to wear it because I had tested Burberry London, and that was too buttery for me. So that one's getting decluttered. But then on that same day, I was like, I'm just going to put this on. Oh my God. And it's really gorgeous. If you are a fan of Mon Guerlain, and you also like beachy florals, if you can get hold of this, I highly recommend it. And it's not ridiculously expensive. It's a 50ml. It's probably considerably less than you would have paid for it new if you get it from Hoagie's. It's gorgeous. I highly recommend it. I just loved wearing that. And then, last but not least, oh my goodness, it's like the most delicious vintage soap. That's what this smells like to me and on me. Oh, it's magic. I have been trying to get a bottle of this secondhand for about a year, and I managed to get one from eBay for a price that I was willing to pay. This is number 5, Chanel number 5 Eau de Parfum, and I just love this. I've been wearing my Le Mont quite a bit, and I've got a sample of this, like a little carded sample that I just have been kind of holding on to. But I just wanted a proper bottle because I want to be able to just reach for this whenever I fancy it. It's just so classic and classy, and it smells expensive, and it's such a good, beautiful perfume. I think a lot of people don't like this. They think it smells vintage in a bad way. I think realistically, when it comes to vintage perfumes, I just really like aldehydes. Like, I think that's my soft spot when it comes to vintage smells. If it's vintage in an ambery way, or if it's vintage in a spicy way, I tend not to like them as much. But if it's aldehydic and it smells like a posh soap, I am just so digging it. That reminds me, actually, I need to break out Cabotin de Grès when I get a chance, because I like that in cold weather. But yeah, I felt like an absolute queen wearing this. I really did, and I really have been wanting to wear it a lot. So it had to be in my top 5 this month. So that is the beautiful queen, the absolute icon that is Chanel number 5. This is the big beast that is Angham from Lattafa. Oh, I've got some real big ones this time. This is still from Jennifer Lopez. And then we've got, let's move these along to make some space, shall we? I'm trying not to blind you because there's a lot of golden colours on that one. Um, Mon Guerlain L'Essence, and then 212 by Carolina Herrera. So those are my top 5 in February, and I would say, like, this one is normally a warm weather one for me, so it's not necessarily a kind of classic February. But this, I mean, Chanel number 5, perfect in cold weather, so cozy. This, I think you could wear most times of the year, but it is quite sweet. It's got a little bit of a thickness to it, as Mon Guerlain has. This is so thick on me and so musky that I can't wear this in warm weather, but in cooler weather, perfect. This Angham, I think, any time of year. In the same way, I think Goddess smells amazing in the warm weather. It brings out the vanilla really strongly. I feel like in the cold weather, Goddess and its dupes, I get a little bit more of the lavender and the more aromatic feels, but I'm happy with that because I love lavender. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this, guys. This is my top 5 for February, and I will see you again in the next one. Okay, bye.